The demise of Denis Badalau has been greatly exaggerated. Rutgers gets a win at the rack against Maine. Let's get to it. Okay, it's Rutgers hoop season. Rutgers gets a kind of an unimpressive win at home against Maine. Hello, my name is Tom. I'm a Rutgers alum. I'm an OG. Rutgers football season ticket holder. Have been going to Rutgers games since the early 70s. Nonetheless, Rutgers gets a rather lackluster 72-60 win against Maine at home. Now, there's a couple of different ways to look at this game. You say, oh, it's Maine. They're 0-3. Maine had 20 wins last year. They were 20-14. They did lose a couple guys from that team. And they got Cooper Flagg's baby brother on the team. And this is the kind of team that could potentially be dangerous for us. You know, they had 20 wins last season. We've been up against it in the past against teams like this early on. If you remember, I kind of saw this, believe it or not, as kind of a trap game. You know, we lost 3 in a row in 2021. What was it? Lafayette. Was it UMass Lowell, maybe? And DePaul, who wasn't supposed to be any good that season, and we started off 5-5, so that was going through my head as this game came up, and nonetheless, they lost to George Washington by 20, nonetheless, and they lost to Stony Brook by 11. We beat them by 12. So I feel this is kind of an underwhelming win. We sprinted out, and early on it looked good. We sprinted out to a 16-point lead, 22-6. Badalau, he was the entire offense. In the first half, he was responsible for over half the points. 37 points in the first half. We go into halftime leading 37-30. He has 19 of the points. Unlike the last game, hit his first shot, wound up 1 for 11, and he was missing everything he threw up. Tonight he couldn't miss, at least early on. The second half, he was kind of quiet. No points. Kind of need, again, you kind of need some balance. In Rutgers fashion, where Rutgers football struggles with the third quarter, you know, from the mid-first half on, we seem to struggle and give up leads. The other team crawls back into it. Maine outscores us 25-12, 24-12, whatever it was, to pull within 7 points. And you're like, oh man, come on. Like, can we just put this game away? Rutgers is going to Rutgers. There are some things that just carry over. That's in our DNA, like in football. We missed 11 free throws. We shot 62%. What were we, 18 for 29? Something like that. We allowed Maine. It was apparent what Maine wanted to do from the outset. They were hoisting up threes. Hit some early until they didn't, and then they started hitting threes again and shot 45% from three. So once again, that's something that we're going to have to work on. We out-rebounded Maine by a good amount. We out-rebounded them 37-23. But it really didn't show up in the production and the score. And if you're going to out-rebound, right, and you're going to allow the other team to hit. By the way, a guy that didn't hit any threes all year, or maybe 1 3 all year, all of a sudden, and this is another Rutgers thing, guy Isaiah Bonilla comes out of nowhere and hits 4 threes. We have to do better against the Maines of the world, because once it gets into the Big Ten part of the schedule, this could be potentially ugly. Nonetheless, we did turn 18 turnovers into 25 points. After not turning the ball over early, we were doing a really good job with that. We started to turn over. I think we wound up with 14 turnovers. This game a little bit different. Last game against Ryder, Tariq Francis was the guy who showed out early. He got off to a really slow start. He might have had 2 or 3 points in the first half. Did wound up with 14. Or 12 points. 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. So it turned into a productive night for him, but he only shot 4 for 12 from 3. And, we kind of talked about when we first signed Tariq that he's kind of he's a scorer, but inefficient volume kind of scorer. He shot 4 for 12 and was only 2 for 7 from 3, but he picked it up in the second half nonetheless. Dylan Grant, double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Darren Buchanan, kind of quiet early. And, he started off slow, but he wound up in the second half picking it up a bit. 10 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists on 4 or 5 shooting. And he had some key baskets down the stretch, which kind of helped when Maine was trying to get back in it. We led, from wire to wire. But just when you thought we were going to cover that 18.5 point spread for the second game in a row, by the way, we'd given up. And it's not like the typical Rutgers team that would go 10 minutes without a basket. It was just we allowed Maine to get back in the game in stretches when we could have put the nail in the coffin. Nonetheless, Agboli, he had 7 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. But he had 4 personal fouls, and he just seems to not have... he just doesn't seem to have awareness on the court, underneath the basket. And he just seems... I liken it to a quarterback who's out of rhythm. And he's out of sync. Agboli just doesn't look right out there. Unfortunately, by fall, he's seeing, minimal action. I think he had 5 minutes tonight, and you're kind of hoping for him to step in and be that guy. It hasn't happened yet. This could be problematic in the Big Ten. You can't have a center in the Big Ten be out of position, committing fouls and just being being a problem for you. Nonetheless, J. Mike, kind of a quiet night, 8-2-2. He loves to come in. He loves to, come in and hoist. He had, him and Denis Badalau are going to be interesting insofar as the percentage of shots that these guys take from 3. Now, Badalau wound up with, he had 19 in the first half. He wound up with 19 on 6 and 11 shooting, 4 for 8 from 3 after a hot start, 3 for 6 on free throws. We got to do better there. You go 24 for 28, 18-point win, never in doubt. Don't let him back in. It's a solid win, and you do what you needed to do despite the competition. And unlike the game against Ryder, where everybody saw some time, not this time. Javonte Ware, Caden Powers didn't really see any playing time tonight. Nonetheless, it's off to Lehigh, American, and Central Connecticut State, which should get us to 5-0. But then the stretch starts. And it's ranked Tennessee, Notre Dame, Purdue, ranked Purdue, number 1, Michigan, And Seton Hall, which is, rivalry game could be a problem. Possibility it could be 2022 or 1 all over again, where we're 5-5. If we can, in that stretch, win the 3 games we're supposed to, come away with wins against Notre Dame and Seton Hall, and you're 7-3, and it's all right. Yeah, you can accept that. Nonetheless, everybody enjoy. Boy, it's a cold night today. A cold night overnight. It's going to be a kind of a blustery week. This coming Sunday, that's my birthday. Won't be much to report on as far as Rutgers results, but we got the bye week in football. We'll talk a little bit Ohio State, although there's really not much to talk about there. We're talking about a professional NFL roster versus the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, and the guys from Rutgers ran Steve Politi, Brian Fonseca saying, okay, but is there a scenario where you can see Rutgers being able to steal a win or at least pose a threat? And it wasn't serious at all. It was a lot of sarcasm and joking. Can Rutgers keep it close like they did with Gavin Wimsatt a couple years ago? Different team, different defense. On the road against a juggernaut of a team. Ohio State, sometimes they get off to a slow start and then they pull away. So if we have any chances we can't make, well, we'll get to that. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. And go RU.